Hello everyone and welcome back to Market This Week. This is week ended 8th of December 2017. Quite a nice bounce back from the Nifty over the last two trading sessions, that was Thursday and Friday. We have the Nifty future near month chart open in front of us, where we see Thursday, Friday the index bouncing back sharply, close to over 200 points gain. Quite interesting to notice the fact that the last two meaningful bounce back have come both when the index tests the 89 exponential moving average band, something that I keep a close watch on for a medium to long term trend perspective. However, Friday's close was pretty strong near the highest point of the day. Quick look at the weekly chart also suggests the fact that we have a nice bounce back. The million-dollar question would be, can this extend further up? If yes, then what's the levels on the upside? And if it fails, then when do we have a confirmation that this bounce back is over? Well, on the upside, we sense that this move can extend further up, and for that we drill down to a slightly shorter time frame. I'm looking at the 15-minute chart over here. You notice if I just do this, I get a gap down, which I have around close to that 10,320, 340 mark for the Nifty future. I see my MACD indicator sloping down as prices are inching up. This would be clear if you look at the line chart. So I've got a MACD divergence in the make. My CCI index is also slowing down, the clear sign that momentum is slowing down for sure. From a very short-term point of view, the lows of 10,270 for the Nifty future, if it's broken on the downside, you can expect a short-term dip close to 30-50 points on the downside. However, if we got a good gap up or a decent positive opening on Monday, then the next level of supply is likely to come from this falling gap, but a close watch will be definitely there. 60-minute chart suggests the fact that the index is dragging itself further up. And as it drags itself further up, you see that the MACD histogram is coming off, which is kind of a slant divergence for the Nifty future. Clear signs that momentum is easing off. If it extends further up, then 10,320 on the upside. However, if you get any kind of contra sell signal on this chart, then definitely this is not that price where you should be looking to buy Nifty. It's definitely from a slightly lower price if it inches further down. Look at the Bank Nifty. This is the Bank Nifty spot chart. We've got a gap up on Friday. Though all the banks did not participate the way we anticipated, especially from the PSU banks, but Bank Nifty is kind of underperforming the overall index for sure. Quickly look into the 60-minute charts, and I see that it's got into my 89 exponential moving average band, and over here also I see clear signs of momentum easing off from my indicators. So I sense that these two-day move of Thursday, Friday that we have got, the early half of this week coming up will be more of a consolidation, and then probably directional clarity will come whether it decides to move further up or down. Keeping in mind that the underlying trend is up across all time frames, we should not question the fact that there is enough strength in the market, and in that case upside possibility is slightly more than that of a downside correction. So from a very short-term point of view, use of last Friday's lows, a break of that low is essential for any kind of weakness in the market. So net overall market, the bias is positive, and we continue to look for some solid long trades. So let me quickly check with my scanner, and I did scan the FNO universe for some positional buy positions. I was looking at some TF for my screen, looks for trend following. These are breakout candidates. I didn't get any swing on my weekly daily charts, but I've got some contra interesting pick for you. So let's look at the what kind of breakout candidates have I got for you. So Excite is an MACD cross as well as CCI breakout, but the thing that which I don't like in Excite is the fact that it's still in a downtrend. All right, it's below my E89 band. The other averages are opening up for sure. It looks better on the weekly chart, this entire consolidation, but I think it's going to take some more time. Voltas on the daily chart is given a breakout. It's kind of extended, so I'm not going to chase that. Manappuram, interesting chart to keep a watch on. It's completely range bound. Higher levels on 108, 109 are the resistances, but this is one stock which is buying time for sure. CG Power, again, completely range bound, not interested. Apollo Tyre, again, range bound, clear resistances close to that 255 and 260 zone. Sun TV get an amazing breakout. The only thing which I don't like is the fact that the stock has already moved up over 5%. Look over here, my volume and volatility screen shows how sharply the ATR has moved up. So this is something which is already an expanded candidate. So I'm going to pass that. So the breakout candidates, as usual, are not that interesting. What are the ones which have given an MACD crossover? Oracle Finance. This is something which I have recommendation live in my recent season lifetime portfolio. Clients of RSL will definitely enjoying this trade from our side. This is one stock which I sense will inch further up towards that 4K mark. Repco Home. Interesting crossover. We'll get a breakout. We'll get a clear breakout once we have a move above that 640 mark. Again, one thing which I don't like, it's, the overall chart is sloping on the downside. Balkrishna Industries, big move, big volatility expansion, close to 7% move last Friday. Missed the bus. So was Bharti Airtel. Dabur. This is interesting. Dabur, if I look at the weekly charts, we've got a nice trend. There's no doubt about that. No sign of any ease off as of now, except a bit of there from CCI. But net, we've got a nice breakout on the daily charts. I see the ease off coming in MACD. Now the crossover happening over here. Other indicators supporting it. If I quickly check my volatility and volume, volumes have been improving. Volatility indicator does not suggest any kind of divergence. So this breakout is likely to continue on the upside. In fact, FMCG did and consumption sector did give a pretty good move last week. So Dabur definitely one candidate we can look at for a follow-through move on the upside. There you go, Pidilite, consumption story. Infosys is buying some time above that 1K mark. We did have an intraday trade on Infosys last week, which just gave us very minor profits, but nevertheless. Ajanta Pharma, if you recall, this was one stock which I had shared in my market this week, I think a couple of weeks back. The weekly chart is slowly improving. We've got a decent rally close to that 1130 mark all the way towards the 1450. So we've got over 300 points rally in the stock. And I sense that this move is likely to extend further up. What I like about the fact is throughout this move, there have been volume spikes, which clearly suggests that institutions have definitely gotten to this stock over a period of last 3 to 4 months. Or the other ones we have, South Indian Bank. This would be interesting to look at. This is my volatility volume screen. Bollinger Band, kind of a squeeze. Volumes have been supportive in the last move that we had. Volatility is kind of suggesting a fact that there is likely to be a move on the upside. There's likely to be a move, sorry. Whether it's on upside or downside, that we have to check with our this screen, which gives me my trend and momentum. Over here, we did notice that the stock did break out and it did fail. So it's going to be a retest and a reattempt to break above that. Possibility is high. We say that because the weekly charts is supportive, it's in a strong uptrend, the order of the moving average is intact. The only caveat to this entire structure is the fact that I see that the value of the MACD deteriorates as the prices inch further up. This is kind of a divergence on the MACD indicator, which is never a very comfortable sign for any stock to break out on the upside and continue further. But nonetheless, South Bank is definitely one stock to look from a trading point of view. I don't have anything under the swing category this week, but Contra. And within Contra, I will not take too much time. I'll straight away take you to ICICI Pru Life. Now we're looking at Contra candidates, which means that we'll be in a downtrend, which the case is with ICICI Pru, and we're trying to buy a falling stock, and we sense that it's going to be a contrarian buy. There are multiple things which I like about this chart. Contra candidate needs a downtrend intact. Contra candidate needs a negative order on the downside checked. Contra candidate would need some improvement of momentum. Yes, I have it here and a bit of it there in MACD histogram. And I need some divergences, which is clear in these indicators as well. So trend is negative, momentum is improving. That's the bare necessity for a contra candidate. Let's check with our volume indicators, volume and volatility indicators. I see some improvement in volumes over here, which is a good sign. I do see some divergence with the percentage B indicator, and my range indicators suggest you are completely squeezed up, which means we've got to move in our hands very soon. Considering we're oversold with divergences, the probability of a breakout on the upside is high. So this guy confirmed buy above that 375 mark, which is currently at 378. So the long trade is confirmed. The first hurdle comes in this falling gap down, which is close to that 386, 393 range. My conviction is this range is definitely going to get tested for sure. It's going to have some stiff competition from sellers at the range of 400 and 410, if at all we get this move close to that 400, 410, because this is where the main fight between the sellers and the buyers will happen. This was the range which will define whether the medium to long-term trend reverses on the upside or not. But nevertheless, keeping in mind the relative downside is relatively less, we've got a trade in our hand which is purely contrarian in nature on the upside. That's ICICI Pru. Keep in mind that the other insurance companies last week also gave a decent move. So overall, I sense ICICI Pru is definitely one candidate to keep a watch for. So market this week, Nifty got a nice sharp two-day bounce back. I sensed Monday, Tuesday would be more like a buying time and ease off. If we see a selling, then definitely this was more of a short covering, which I don't sense so. But I sense that index will ease off the first probably 2.5 days and can extend the move on the upside. Important level to watch for would be Friday's low. As long as that holds, possibilities there on the upside. If that is broken within the first 2 or 2.5 days, then we've got another probably round of sell-off on the downside from the index. I always remind myself that on the monthly charts, I now have a confirmed setup on the upside, which suggests that a possibility of 9800 should not be negated. So I'm keeping that in the back of my mind. So considering the fact that 9800 is possible and the short-term charts are positive, all my long trades will be very, very short duration ones. However, if I get any weak stock, weak trend, which confirms me a short trade, I'm going to probably go ahead with that. So probably caution is the name of the game going forward. December obviously is a light month. Everyone would go for holidays. But nevertheless, we can continue to trade. We continue to analyze the markets for you. That's Market This Week for you. Thanks for all your support and feedbacks. Thank you. Keep them coming. I'll be back again next Sunday with another round of Market This Week. Thank you. As always, trade well, trade wise.